Yara, I disagree with you this time.
As a married couple, I believe if we did buy a property together, it needs to be under both of my names. And I think this is probably one thing that Andre and I can agree on.
Yeah.
Properties. Now, I don't know if you've seen the video that I've already made on Yara and Jovi, but this one actually does link up to it to a certain degree. So if you haven't seen that, I recommend you go watch that. But properties, joint accounts, Yara's the one that literally blasted a Bilal for not wanting to have a joint account with Shida. But now she's in this position where she feels that she wants to invest or wanted to invest in a property in Europe under her own name without putting Jovi a part of it. It's interesting how people love to live this life of double standard is the word, or being contradictive, or one rule for me, another one for you. It's always just contradictions, other contradictions. And you know what's so crazy? I thought that a relationship based on healthy love is based on compromise. So therefore you avoid the contradictions. And even if there is a contradiction, you have a conversation and it comes to, and then you find that compromise or that final decision. But no, some people just love to go back and forth as if that's healthy. But,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a trust issue. My mom didn't have any good experience. I saw it. So Jovi sometimes do stupid stuff.
So she doesn't want to have a joint account for her investment in a property in Europe because she has trust issues because her mom went through bad experiences. And by the way, if the video is too fast for you, you can slow it down on the YouTube little spanner thing. Allows you to slow it down, okay? But the funny thing about that is that she was going in at Bilal for not trusting Shida to have a joint account, but now she's saying that she has trust issues with Jovi after how many years of being together and being married to him and also having a child with him, and you're talking about you don't trust it? You don't trust him? Or you have trust issues? How can you have trust issues when you're telling other people to have joint accounts? How can you have trust issues if you already have an account together? How can you have trust issues if Jovi has so far held you down financially? How can you have trust issues if you've had the ability to have your own money from your own work and Jovi hasn't necessarily taken money away from your own business? You know when people just start talking gibberish, they puke in their own mouth because what they're talking is just absolute cack. This is one of those situations, but hey, am I surprised by Yara's responses, by her behavior? Absolutely not. Are you?
This is a business investment for you.
And for Mila to be protected when she will grow up.
Right.
Yes.
Business, okay. So now she wants to buy property to rent other people. Okay, cool. All right. And to protect Mila. All right, no worries.
But at the same time, you're saying if Jovi up and leaves you,
Yeah, then I have a place to go.
what are the trust issues that you have with him?
You know, Jovi sometimes do some stupid stuff that he regrets after.
Like,
If a guy loves strip clubs, what do you want?
So let me process this. She wants to buy a property that's an investment in Europe to set herself up and Mila. So she doesn't trust that Jovi is always going to financially support his own daughter. And she also saying that if her and Jovi broke up, then that means she would leave Jovi in America with Mila and take Mila to Europe. I'm sorry, but that's never going to happen. Because let's be real, when it comes to Jovi's not going to allow Mila to be taken away from him in Europe. Do you know what? Let me take that back. I said it's never going to happen. No. That's going to be very hard to happen. It's going to come down to obviously who becomes, who's going to have the custody, right? But you know, when the show aired and these things happened, it felt like she was investing in a property as an escape plan, you know, as if she was planning to leave him or something like that. But riddle me this, and this is the thing that I'm trying to fathom and trying to understand. I feel like she's actually wanting to leave, or she has a plan, or at least she anticipates a breakup is going to happen. Because the fact that she's planning to buy a property in Europe and have it set up for herself and Mila, people who do that are people who generally have an insecurity that something may not work with you and your partner. And it's crazy because when she was asked a question about insecurity, what's insecure, she was like, he just does silly things. Well, aren't you supposed to have a conversation with your partner about those silly things so they don't happen again? And then, of course, Andre comes in with his smart comments about strip clubs. He just had to, didn't he? You gotta love the banter. or the seriousness, if anything. But at the end of the day, the way she's moving, the way she's going about it, for me, is very booky. It is very suspicious. But I'm not saying that she's not being genuine in what she's trying to do. I just don't think it's been thought out in a very good way. And I also think it's as if she's anticipating a breakup. I mean, despite the fact that they're not ready for another kid, I do wonder, what are her other hidden reasons to not want another child? And also, I've noticed something. When Yara is under pressure, she gets heated very, very quickly. She projects quicker. You know what I mean? Emotions come out quicker. And I always feel like that's the sign to say that she's not being 100% genuine in what she's saying. But that's just me reading how people would normally lie or, you know, beat around the bush when they're caught out of something that it doesn't seem proper. But hey, you let me know.
I want to move to Florida. I think it's the most reasonable place. I honestly don't really want to leave Louisiana so much, but I understand that moving is going to make her happier. So I'm
But you
just
also
trying to...
understand you're going to also lose the only help you have right now.
I know.
So let's just process that. Let's just process that. They were going in at Jovi's mom, and now they want to leave, and now they want to move further away. You know what? Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
And Liz, guess what? We just bought property to build a home to be closer to them.
So after nagging mum to be more helpful when she doesn't need to be more helpful, they then decide, and this is the link up to the previous video if you haven't seen it, okay? So if you don't know what I'm referencing to, watch the video beforehand. So now, after moaning and complaining about mum not being there enough, mum is now going to move closer to you, but now you're going to move further away from mum. I don't even know, right now there's a 2-hour gap between Jovi and his mother. What's the gap be when she moves to Louisiana and he moves to Florida? I would say make it make sense, but what's the point?
Life is not happy in Louisiana, and I don't want her to continue to be unhappy all the time.
Yara is so spoiled. Jovi is so spoiled. Like, these two are so spoiled. It's pathetic.
The whole babysitter thing. I don't want to say too bad, and our
I'm
plan
going to the
is...
school soon, so it's okay.
Yeah, and when we do move, we want to have...
So it's okay now.
That is the question. So it's okay now. So it's okay now. Now, oh, she's going to be going to school now. So it's okay. We don't need Gwen anymore. Like, look, just I feel for Gwen. I feel for Gwen. I really do. But like I said before in the previous video, if you haven't seen it, in fact, go watch it and you see exactly what I said about Gwen anyway, in terms of her involvement with what is actually happening. But at the end of the day, these two, man, like Libby said it before, and these two have got the perfect setup, and they've taken advantage of it, and now they want to just spit on it. You know, before I didn't like Jovi. I remember when they first came on to the 90 Day Fiancé, didn't like Jovi. I wasn't really too sure about Yara. But then when they returned for this season, you know, after I seen him for the first time since that season they were on, I was like, maybe Jovi's warming up to me a little bit, because Yara has been quite interesting this season. But now, we've all rounded up in the tail, I can't stand both of them. Both of them are very entitled, very spoiled, and very ungrateful, to be honest with you. Now, of course, would it be good for them to move to Florida and be away from Gwen and have less support from Gwen to help them grow as parents with Myla? Absolutely. So I am actually for the move. I'm just not for how it's all going about, because at the end of the day, these two need to learn to now be parents to Myla without so much support from Gwen. But it's gonna be. But I want to say this though, for anyone who's a single mom, and also for anyone that is a parent, and just know, you know as much as I know, just because your kid is now going to school, it doesn't mean it gives you that much free time to go do things. Because of course, you still got to do the school run in the morning, and you've still got to pick up your kid after school. And then if they've got any clubs, you've still got to either take them to that club, depending on the school, or you still got to pick them up from anyway. So there's still responsibilities with your child, even when they are in school. So I'm just saying that because Yara and Jovi make this sound as if like, oh, because she's going to be in school, it'll be okay. Like, I've seen so many parents, back when I was working in schools, I see so many parents be late to pick up their children because there's so many other priorities. Yara's the kind of person to be late because she got other priorities. I could be wrong. I want to be wrong. But Yara and Jovi, Two peas in a pod. It makes sense why they're together, to be fair with you. Spoiled.
You want to buy a place in Prague. Didn't I hear that?
I buy,
In
yes.
your name, in your daughter's name, not in his name.
On
In
our-
you and your daughter's
Yeah.
name. You never mentioned him.
Whew, boy, man. It's not looking good right now for Yara, is it? But that's a point that I even missed, to be fair. That obviously it would be just in her name and her daughter's name. I know Jovi's name was never going to be a part of it, but that is a fair point. But hey, man, listen, I'll let you guys have your say. Let me know what you're thinking down below, and we'll most certainly talk about it in the comment section. But please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and well, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.